Buy or sell. Trey Lance is going to dramatically elevate the 49ers passing game in 2022. Remember now, the key here is that it's going to that dramatically might change your answer from what you might have thought of before.
Yeah.
Let's go with who's going first, Wayne?
I don't know if he's going to dramatically change it, elevate it, but I do believe he's going to elevate it. Dramatic means take it, all the way, like, to a whole nother level. I think he elevates the thing. The dramatic word is the word you shouldn't have ever threw in there. So
That's why I put it in there. I wanted to make the question hard for you.
Here's the thing. I'm all in on Trey Lance, so I'm buying this, yo. I think he dramatically changes this, elevates this offense.
Okay.
I feel you, Wayne. I feel you. Yeah, it's the wording on this question. Look, I'm gonna sell it, and that's me looking at it almost more from a statistical standpoint. Because on the field, I love what Lance is going to do. He's really going to open up the offense. Right now, we got someone who can chuck it 50, 60 yards down the field and hit Ayuk when he's open on that deep post, whereas Jimmy would never pull the trigger. So it's like I'm excited about Trey Lance, but drastically elevate the passing game. We know Lance is going to add a running element as well. He's going to rush for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 rushing touchdowns. So that takes away from the passing numbers, and the same thing with the rushing yards. I'm expecting at least 500, 600 rushing yards as long as Lance can stay healthy. So that's going to take away from some passing numbers. So it's like, it's a tricky question, but looking at it statistically, where Jimmy was, throwing for 3,900 yards a season, might be hard for Lance to get there, at least his first season as a starter, because we're going to be running the ball a lot too.
I'm going to sell as well. I feel like this is going to be, and this is not a hit on Trey Lance's skill or what he can become as in the future. I just think that there's definitely going to be a feeling out process with Kyle and Trey, especially early in the season. And I feel once the Niners have an idea of what Trey does well and what Trey, still maybe struggling with, I think the offense as the season goes on is going to develop into something that we're going to see from that point forward in his career as long as he's a 49er. To come in and all of a sudden throw for 50 touchdowns and be the next Patrick Mahomes, I just think it's an unrealistic expectation. Plus, Kyle Shanahan is the judge, jury, and executioner of that offense, and what he says goes. And so it's not going to be like Trey Lance is going to be, out there freelancing all the time. He might do it sometime, but I just think there's still going to be that structure that maybe Jimmy played with. And like as time goes on, as things develop, and we see what Trey can do, and what I just don't think the Niners are going to be becoming like this run and shoot offense like the old Oiler teams where they're just going to throw it, for 500 yards a game and 50 attempts. I just don't see that, at least not right away, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. He comes out and throws like 6 touchdowns in his first game and he looks like the second coming of Joe Montana. I hope
Oilers.
That's the case.
Hold on. You're dating yourself there with that one. Oilers?
Yeah. The
Oilers, man.
The run and shoot offense. Yeah. The early 90s.
That's what they were, man.
Shit, I was born in 90, so I missed
out
on.
They were a really good offensive team. They choked in the playoffs all the time, especially when they went up against Joe Montana in Kansas City. Ha!
I remember the Houston Oilers. Warren Moon.
He was so good.
Take me back. Yes.
But he was good in multiple leagues.
In multiple leagues, yeah. Before you answer this question, Jack, because I'm excited to hear, but to be fair with this damn question. You didn't say when either. So that's why I said that he would dramatically elevate the 49ers passing game. See, y'all mofos thinking he's going to do it in season 1. I never said that. I said that he would dramatically elevate this passing game. Now, Jack, please answer the question after I put that little disclaimer in there because you didn't put that since you want to get all dope with the wording dramatically.
Get a little hot in here.
You're on mute, Jack. Go ahead and take it home, baby. Come on.
talking to myself because Barry Baller doesn't even know who the Oilers are. And all I wanted to say is it's the Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers #1. Dun. It's the Houston Oilers. That's they used to have a fight song and
That was
everything.
their theme song. That was their fight song.
Yeah.
They had two good quarterbacks, in my opinion. Warren Moon, and then then Steve McNair, but he was the Tennessee tight. It was just weird. It was.
Hey, Ken Stabler was there. Dan Pastorini throwing it back to the Bay Area. Dan Pastorini, who was he played high school ball in San Jose at Bellarmine College Prep.
Now I'm going to be singing that theme song.
Yeah, see, now I got to stuck it. So see, Wayne's really going to be pissed off at me now because not only does he not like my topic right here because I threw it in at damn dramatically, but now he's going to be singing about the Houston Oilers all night when he gets home. So, but the thing here, I've gone back and forth on this one a number of times. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy it. And the reason let me explain why I'm buying it. Well, a big stat for me is the net yards per attempt for the offense. And I talked about it a lot during the season. I mentioned it in a tweet the other day. But the 49ers led the league in the net yards per attempt with 7.7. When you look at their team, Jimmy Garoppolo was like 7.6. But Trey Lance actually had a higher net yards per attempt at 7.83 or somewhere around there. And that is with Trey Lance having a completion percentage 11% below Jimmy Garoppolo. The 49ers moved the ball better through the air when Trey Lance was the quarterback, despite their quarterback having a number 11% lower when it comes to passing. So if he just improves, he keeps everything the same except for he adds on another 5% to his completion percentage, but everything else stays the same as far as the percentage of deep balls and all that kind of stuff. He's going to make a dramatic. It's a dramatic change, and I can see that happening with Trey Lance. And I don't know if it's going to be week 1, but hey, if he comes out and he plays week 1 the way he played week 17, yes, he'll do it because week 17 was way better than a lot of what we'd seen from Jimmy Garoppolo. If he can carry that through a whole game. So,
Jack, can I ask you statistically? Do you expect Trey Lance to exceed, let's just look at the passing numbers from Jimmy G last year, 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Do you expect him to exceed those numbers as a passer his rookie year?
Yeah, I put out a while ago. I expect him to come around. He's going to be over 4,000 yards, I think. I have him about, if he plays all 17 games, it's 4,300 yards, 28 touchdowns, 14 picks is what I have him playing. So,
wow, I would love that.
That would be a fantastic first year.
And here's the thing. That number sounds really out there, but when you compare it to where they were as a team last year, it's not that big of a jump. Because last year, remember, Garoppolo had 3,900 yards, but he missed 2 games. He missed 2.5 games. Mm-hmm. And then you have, so they're right around that number last year anyway. So it sounds awesome, but it's really not that big. I mean, his number could be even bigger than that if he just gets his completion percentage up. That's that whole thing. He needs to get 5% more on his completion percentage, and the sky's the limit. And I think he's looked really good in training camp so far. He's looked like Jimmy Garoppolo with the ability to hit a couple of deep passes.
To me, it's all about that intermediate passing game. If he can master that, he could be really, really, really scary. Because that's kind of the question with him. The one thing that Jimmy did do good with all the zits and warts on his game, he could really, when he wasn't thrown into linebackers, he could really, be somewhat surgical over the middle of the field and get those slants and those quick throws in there. But, Lance last year, he struggled a little bit with that. He's got that, that freaking cannon for an arm in that delivery, where sometimes if you could just loft it over a guy instead of trying to put it through a guy and skewer him. So we'll see. That to me that's my biggest concern for him more than anything is if he can master that short passing game. I think the Niners are going to be in for a really good surprise.
Oh, that's a really good point you made right there, was that ability to layer the ball over the top of those underneath defenders. Like if you go back to that Houston game, early on when he was struggling. I think it was when he was struggling. Sorry. It was early in the second half. He had a wide open wide receiver at the second level off of play action instead of laying it, either holding onto the ball just a second longer or just kind of using a little bit of touch to get it over. He tried to drill it into him. The linebacker tipped it, if you remember that. The guy was wide open behind him. So that's something that I've seen him improve upon during OTAs. He's got more touch on his throws and he's able to layer the ball a little bit more. So it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses into training camp with that.